Really, really could. But in this next topic, Tesla has a demand problem. I found a tweet that talks about all the different reasons why people are not buying Teslas. And so we'll jump into it and take a look at it. But if you're just joining in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, but basically just getting the best deal on Tesla at the best financing rate. So definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. And today's video is sponsored by my Patreon link down below in the description if you want to support the channel, but more on that later. All right, so let us take a look at this. Shout out to Gary Black. PMs, I keep getting PMs, keep asking me why Tesla demand elasticity is relatively low. Several reasons. Okay, so number one is early adopters have bought, now need to convince those with range fear more resistant to going EV. And that makes a lot of sense, right? We are all so used to driving gasoline cars and going to gas stations, or we were. Buying an electric vehicle is a whole nother wiring of thought. You have to figure out, how am I going to get a home charger installed at home? How am I going to go to superchargers? Where are those? Are there enough of them? And all this different stuff. Of course, if you live in a market like California where there's superchargers and electric chargers all over the place, that might be easy. But there's a whole, tons of states out there that don't have superchargers as much as here, that don't have charging. And there's tons of states where people drive probably a lot more. I'm thinking like the Midwest where people drive a lot more and there's just not chargers. It just might not make a lot of sense. And they're just so used to gasoline and their trucks and their diesels and things like that. So it might make not a lot of sense at all. So number two, more competition. Plus 295 net new battery electric vehicles launched in 2021 to 2023, plus 86 new battery electric vehicles from 2018 to 2020. I mean, we talk about this on this channel a lot, about all these Tesla killers and all this competition coming into the loop. I mean, we talked about that Volkswagen ID7 that has 435 miles of range, WLTP, at a $45,000 target price. There's a lot of hot competition coming into the scope. So of course that's going to affect Tesla. And that's why Tesla, of course, does massive price cuts across the board because of that. So that could also make a lot of sense. I mean, let's talk about how Tesla certainly is not a luxury car. It's a luxury technology car. And a lot of these other manufacturers, these other competitors might have better build quality at the end of the day. But, at the end of the day, I still love Tesla. We've had 4 Teslas so far, Model 3, Model Y, S, and X. And it's really funny that my Model X now, or our Model X now, is probably the worst condition in terms of build quality compared to the Model 3, Y, and S. There's just random stuff that is just falling apart from it. And even like everything they say about the Falcon wing doors is 100% true. They're very glitchy at the end of the day. Number 3, serial discounts on luxury goods cause buyers to wait for more discounts. This is especially true in China. So, I mean, I would 100% agree on this. There's been so many price discounts in the past 6 months. I mean, Model Y specifically, which we all know the Model Y is the hottest Tesla model vehicle with all the different inventory and all the different sales. But to go from $66,000 for a Model Y long range down to under $50,000 plus the $7,500 federal tax rate, that's almost $20,000 in difference between what it was not that long ago, almost maybe even a year ago, down to what it is today. So, and there's price cuts that keep happening very, very frequently. You can basically time and pattern down all the different times that Tesla is going to do a discount, especially if you watch the channel and our predictions, then that's going to condition people to just keep waiting. It's really funny. We just had that most recent price cut of a $3,000 on the Model Y across all the trims. And I see all the comments. I read all the comments. And there's people in there asking, hey, we just saw the $3,000 discount. Do you think another one is coming? So there's definitely a conditioning of sort. I mean, we all see patterns. We all kind of want the best deal. And so there's a lot of people out there that are just saying like, hey, it's down to $49,000 right now. I think I'll buy if it's $39,000. I mean, we all want to see at the end of the day if it can go lower. So number 4, perceptions that Teslas are too expensive. Many would-be buyers not aware of price cuts. Yeah, I mean, then that's kind of a catch-22, right? Tesla being labeled as a luxury brand, having the Model S and the Model X that are $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 cars. When they think Model Y, they think it's probably the same car. It's probably $60,000, $70,000. They don't realize that it's actually now a low $42,000 if you factor in the $7,500 tax credit. So of course, that is going to there's a little bit more of awareness awareness now that people are going to see that the deal is there. And so it's going to start to spread very, very slowly, especially as people buy vehicles and there's that social proof or social purchasing spread that happens when your neighbor gets one and then another one gets one after that. And so that's going to take some time, and maybe that's going to take the next 6 months, but at the end of the day, who exactly knows? Number 5, economy worries about recession and payments too high. And that is 100% correct. I mean, if you take the financing rates of 5.59% as it keeps going up and up and up, these payments for a Tesla Model Y and Model 3 are still going to be very high, $600, $700, $800 a month. And compared to other gasoline cars that are like at a $500 a month, like they're, that sticker shock or that monthly payment shock is something that you just have to kind of get around that. And that's why we're going to talk about in our last topic today, a little bit of a PSA on like 4 ways that you can afford a Tesla and the 4 different reasons why, and how the monthly payment isn't the only number that you actually have to look at. And you have to look at the whole thing as a whole package monthly number deal. And we'll talk about why it's actually pretty much the same as other vehicles in the competition, or definitely cheaper than other luxury vehicles, but even about the same price as maybe volume vehicles. I'm talking like Honda Accord hybrid at the end of the day. So definitely some pretty interesting stuff. Let me know what your thoughts on it. Shout out to Gary Black for posting all this different things, but there's just a lot of bit of awareness that needs to be done with Tesla, and people just don't understand or don't know that buying a Tesla could be cheaper at the end of the day. And maybe Tesla needs to do advertising. Maybe they need to post more about on social media, or maybe even create a commercial. There could be a bunch of different things at the end of the day, but that they could do. But one thing's for sure, I don't know if you all have noticed, we have seen a lot more activity with Tesla on Twitter and other social media platforms. So they probably are trying a different strategy with social media awareness to try and educate buyers or even new coming buyers on the benefits of a Tesla. So definitely some pretty interesting stuff. Let me know what your thoughts on it. We're going to jump into the live stream comments. But before we do that, this video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link. Down below in the description is a Patreon link where you can support the channel. And there's a variety of benefits, but some of them include actually scheduling a call with me. We can ask me any questions about buying a Tesla, selling a Tesla, or even financing a Tesla. And after you join the Patreon, you get a link to my buying guide, which has links to all the resources and links that I use to get the best possible deal, including the best financing rate, including credit unions and banks on that list that all have interest rates lower than Tesla financing, lower than Tesla's 5.59%. Some of them are even as low as 2.99 to 3.7%. So definitely check it out. Link down below in the description. And as an added benefit to my Patreon members, I do respond to all DMs in the Patreon app. So if you want to join, you can definitely check it out. Link down below.